Rain hammered the coastal highway like bullets on glass. Natalyia Rivers pressed her forehead against the bus window, watching black waves crash against the cliffs. Every mile carried her further from the apartment she'd lost, from the hospital where her mother had drawn her last breath. The bus driver's voice crackled through speakers. "Last stop before we turn inland." Natalyia grabbed her backpack and stepped into the storm. Wind slammed into her, nearly knocking her sideways. Her phone was dead. The address on the damp napkin in her pocket was barely readable. The job posting had been simple. Too simple. Live-in housekeeper. No experience required. Quiet environment. Good pay, she'd called from a payphone. A tired voice had said only, "Come tonight if you're serious." Through sheets of rain, she finally saw it. The mansion rose from the clifftop like a glass cathedral, glowing against the darkness. Lightning illuminated its skeletal frame. It was beautiful and haunting. Her shoes squelched through puddles as she approached the massive door. Dark wood, iron fixtures. She pressed the bell, nothing. She knocked, knuckles stinging from cold, still nothing. She was turning to leave when the door suddenly opened. A man stood backlit by warm light. Tall, mid-30s, dark hair falling across his forehead. Eyes the color of winter oceans, studying her with something between annoyance and curiosity. "You're the one who called," he said. Not a question. Natalyia nodded, teeth chattering. "I'm sorry to come so late." "The storm, you'll flood the entrance if you stand there." He stepped aside. "Come in." She crossed the threshold into another world. Vast, minimalist, clean lines and expensive emptiness. Glass walls framed the churning sea. A stone fireplace stretched floor to ceiling, crackling with warmth that hit her like a physical blow. The man closed the door. His clothes were casual, but clearly expensive. Dark jeans, gray sweater matching his eyes, but there was something worn about him. Heavy shoulders. Shadows beneath his eyes, speaking of sleepless nights. "I'm Damian Cross," he said. "You are Natalyia Rivers. Thank you for seeing me. I know it's late." He gestured toward the fireplace. "Dry off. I'll get towels." He disappeared down a hallway. Natalyia approached the fire, holding numb hands toward the flames. Her reflection stared back from dark windows. A drowned girl in oversized clothes, hair plastered to her skull. Someone with nowhere else to go. Damian returned with thick towels and a robe. "There's a bathroom through that door. Change." The bathroom was larger than her old bedroom, all marble and chrome. She peeled off wet clothes and wrapped herself in the robe. It smelled like cedar and something clean, masculine. When she emerged, Damian sat by the fire, staring into flames. "Sit," he said, nodding to the chair across from him. "Tell me why you want this job." Natalyia sat, pulling the robe tighter. "I need work. I need a place to stay." The posting said no experience required. Most people would lie. Say they love cleaning or have always dreamed of housekeeping. "I'm not most people," she said quietly, "and I don't see the point in lying. If you want someone with experience, I can leave." He studied her for a long moment. "What are you running from?" The question caught her off guard. "Excuse me?" No one shows up in a storm at midnight for a job like this unless they're running from something. "So what is it? Debt? An ex? The law?" Natalyia's jaw tightened. "My mother died 3 months ago. Cancer. I spent everything taking care of her. When she was gone, I couldn't afford rent. The landlord changed the locks while I was at her funeral. So yes, I suppose I'm running from being homeless. Is that disqualifying?" Something shifted in his expression. The hardness softened just slightly. "I'm sorry about your mother. So am I." Silence stretched between them, filled only by crackling fire and howling wind. Finally, Damian stood and walked to the window, hands in pockets. "This house is too big for one person," he said, voice distant. "My fiancée Simone, she loved it. Loved the light, the view, the space. After she died, I couldn't leave. Couldn't stay either. Does that make sense?" Natalyia nodded, even though he wasn't looking. "It does. I don't need a housekeeper." He turned to face her. I need someone to make this place feel less like a mausoleum. Can you do that? She met his gaze. I can try. A faint smile touched his lips, there and gone like a ghost. The job is yours. Guest room is upstairs. Second door on the left. We'll discuss details in the morning. Relief flooded through her. Thank you, Mr. Cross. Damian, he corrected. If you're going to live here, we should be on first-name terms. She nodded. Damian. He turned back to the window, and she climbed the stairs to her new room. But as she reached the landing, his voice drifted up from below. Natalyia. She paused. Yes. There are only 2 rules. First, the West Wing is off limits. That was Simone's studio. I'm not ready to deal with it yet. Understood. And the second rule. His silhouette remained perfectly still against the window. Don't make me feel things again. The words hung in the air like smoke. Before she could respond, he walked away, disappearing into the shadows of the vast, empty house. Natalyia stood alone on the landing, her heart pounding for reasons she couldn't name. Pale sunlight woke Natalyia. For a moment, she forgot where she was. Then memory returned. The storm, the mansion, the sad billionaire who'd opened his door to a stranger. She dressed and made her way downstairs. The house was quiet, unnaturally so. In the kitchen, she found coffee beans in the freezer, fresh cream in the refrigerator, everything perfectly organized. She started a pot, rich aroma filling the silence. You're up early. Damian stood in the doorway, rumpled in pajama pants and a t-shirt, hair messy, sleep creases on his face. Somehow this made him seem more human. I'm used to early mornings, she said. I made coffee. I hope that's okay. It's your job now. You don't need permission. He poured himself a cup, watching her. So what exactly do you want me to do here? The house seems pretty clean. It is. I have a cleaning service twice a week. He took a sip. What I need is someone who will actually be here. Someone who will make noise, cook meals, exist in the space. Does that sound strange? A little, she admitted. He smiled and it transformed his face. Good strange is honest. His expression grew serious. There are only 2 rules. First, the West Wing is off limits. Second, don't ask me about work unless I bring it up first. Everything else is flexible. Understood. The morning passed in comfortable rhythm. Natalyia explored the house. It was stunning, but also sad, like a museum dedicated to someone who'd stopped caring. Beautiful things gathered dust. Windows remained closed. Rooms full of light sat empty. Around noon, she found herself in the library. Books lined the walls floor to ceiling. A grand piano sat in the corner, covered with a white sheet. Wait, do you play? She jumped at Damian's voice. He stood in the doorway with 2 plates of sandwiches. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to intrude. It's fine. He set the plates down. Do you? My mother did, Natalyia said softly. She tried to teach me, but I was never patient enough. She could make the most beautiful sounds, though. Like the piano was speaking a language only she understood. Damian lifted the sheet, revealing pristine black lacquer. Simone played. Not professionally, but well enough to fill the house with music. I haven't heard it in over a year. How long has she been gone? 14 months? 3 weeks? And 2 days. His voice was flat, reciting facts to keep emotions at bay. Car accident. She was driving to meet me for dinner. I was late for a business meeting. She called to say she'd wait. 5 minutes later, a drunk driver crossed the center line. The weight of his grief filled the room like smoke. She would have liked you, Damian, said suddenly. Simone? She collected strays. People, animals, anything that needed help. I was one of them once, believe it or not. What do you mean? He sat at the piano, running hands over keys without pressing them. I grew up with nothing. Brilliant but broke, as my professors used to say. Simone was the daughter of a venture capitalist. She saw me presenting at a tech conference and decided I was going to change the world. She was right in a way. Her father invested in my first company. 5 years later, we had more money than we knew what to do with. But you lost her, Natalyia said gently. I did. And no amount of money can bring her back. He stood abruptly. I should get back to work. Feel free to explore wherever you like. Except the West Wing. He left before she could respond. 3 days passed in quiet routine. Natalyia cooked simple meals that Damian ate in distracted silence. She opened windows and let fresh air chase out staleness. She played music softly while working, filling empty spaces with something other than grief. Slowly, the house began to feel less like a tomb. On the 4th day, she was dusting the hallway near the West Wing when she noticed something odd. The wall didn't quite line up. There was a seam, barely visible where 2 panels met. She pressed her hand against it experimentally. Something clicked. A hidden door swung inward. Natalyia hesitated. This was clearly part of the forbidden West Wing, but curiosity won. She stepped inside. The small room was filled with treasures. Photographs covered one wall, candid shots of Damian and a beautiful woman with dark skin and bright eyes. Simone, she was stunning. But it was her smile that caught attention. Warm, genuine, full of life. There were sketchbooks filled with drawings. A jewelry box containing handmade bracelets. A corkboard covered in notes written in elegant handwriting. Reminders and affirmations. Little messages of love tell Damian he's working too hard. Remember to buy flowers for Rose's birthday. Don't forget to live. The last note was different. Dated the day before Simone died. If something happens to me, don't let him disappear into that house. Don't let him forget how to be human. Someone needs to remind him that life is still worth living. Tears streamed down Natalyia's cheeks. She turned to leave and found Damian standing in the doorway. His face was unreadable. I'm sorry, she said quickly. I found the door by accident. I shouldn't have, no, he said quietly. You shouldn't have. But I'm glad you did. He stepped into the room, eyes roaming over the photographs. I couldn't get rid of any of it. Couldn't look at it either. So I hid it all away and pretended it didn't exist. That's not living, Damian. That's just surviving. He turned to her, and the raw pain in his eyes made her breath catch. What's the difference anymore? The difference is that she wanted you to live. Natalyia gestured to the note. She left you instructions. She knew you'd do this. She always knew me better than I knew myself. His voice cracked. How am I supposed to move on when every breath feels like a betrayal? You honor her by not wasting the life she can't have. They stood in the small room surrounded by memories of a woman who'd loved him completely. The air between them felt charged, heavy with unspoken things. Damian took a step closer. You're dangerous, Natalyia Rivers, her heart hammered. Why? Because you make me want to try. He reached out, his hand hovering near her face. She could feel the heat of his palm, so close but not touching. The moment stretched, taut as a wire, then his phone buzzed, shattering the spell. He pulled back, clearing his throat. I should take this. He left the room quickly, leaving Natalyia alone with ghosts and a racing heart. But as she turned to go, she saw something she'd missed before. Another photograph tucked behind the others. Simone and another man? Not Damian. They were laughing, heads close together, the intimacy obvious. On the back, written in Simone's handwriting, Marcus and me. What Damian can never know? Natalyia stared at the photograph, her stomach twisting. The intimacy between Simone and the unknown man was undeniable. She slipped the photo into her pocket, her mind racing. Should she tell Damian? Would it help or destroy him? That evening, she found him on the terrace overlooking the ocean. Sunset painted the sky in bruised purples and burnt oranges. He held a glass of whiskey, staring at the horizon. Can I join you? She asked. He nodded without looking at her. I'm not good company tonight. Good thing I'm not expecting entertainment. She leaned against the railing beside him. The wind whipped her hair around her face. Want to talk about it? About what? Whatever's making you drink alone at sunset? He turned to her then, and the look in his eyes made her breath catch. You, me. You walked into my life 4 days ago, and suddenly the air in this house feels different. I can breathe again. And I don't know if I hate you for it, or if I'm terrified of what happens when you leave. The photograph burned in her pocket. She should tell him. But looking at his face, at the first glimpse of hope she'd seen there, she couldn't bring herself to shatter it. "I'm not planning on leaving," she said softly. "Everyone leaves eventually." He drained his glass. "Death or choice. It all ends the same. That's a sad way to live. It's a realistic way to live." "No." She turned to face him fully. "It's a coward's way to live." His eyes flashed. "Careful. Why?" "You hired me to make this place feel less like a mausoleum." "Well, here's the truth. You're the one who's dead, Damian. Not Simone, you're the ghost haunting this house." He set the glass down with controlled precision. "You don't know anything about me. I know you're using grief as armor. I know you're so terrified of feeling something real that you'd rather feel nothing at all. I know you." He moved so fast, she didn't have time to react. One moment she was speaking, the next his hand was on her face, his body close enough that she could feel his heat. "You want to know what I feel?" His voice was rough, raw. "I feel like I'm drowning, and you're the first breath of air I've had in 14 months. And it terrifies me, because I don't know if I can survive losing someone again." "Damian, don't." His thumb brushed her cheek. "Don't tell me it's going to be okay. Don't tell me time heals all wounds. Just don't." "I wasn't going to say any of that." "Then what were you going to say?" She looked up at him, at the pain and hope warring in his eyes. "I was going to say that I'm scared too. That I came here because I had nowhere else to go. But now I'm here, and I'm feeling things I shouldn't feel, and I don't know what to do about it either." The confession hung between them. The sun dipped below the horizon, painting them in shadow. "We shouldn't do this," he whispered. "I know. It's too soon. It's too complicated. I know. I'm still in love with a ghost." The words should have hurt. Instead, they felt like honesty, like the first real thing he'd said. "I know," she whispered. He leaned closer. "Tell me to stop. I can't." His lips met hers, and the world tilted. The kiss was gentle at first, tentative, like neither of them quite believed it was happening. Then something broke inside both of them. His hands slid into her hair. Her fingers clutched his shirt. The kiss deepened, becoming desperate, hungry. A year of grief and loneliness pouring into a single moment. When they finally broke apart, both were breathing hard. "That shouldn't have happened," Damian said. But he didn't let her go. Probably not. "This is a terrible idea. The worst." He rested his forehead against hers. "I don't want to hurt you, then don't." They stood there as darkness fell, the ocean crashing below. The photograph in Natalyia's pocket, a ticking bomb she couldn't bring herself to detonate. The next morning, she woke to find a note slipped under her door. "I have a business trip. 3 days. Think about what this means. Think about whether you can handle loving a broken man. And if the answer is no, I'll understand. There's money on the kitchen counter. Enough to start over somewhere else. The choice is yours." Nata crumpled the note in her fist. She wanted to be angry, but she understood. He was giving her an out. A chance to run before things got more complicated. She spent the day cleaning, trying not to think. But the photograph haunted her. Finally, she couldn't take it anymore. She pulled it out, staring at Simone's face. She needed answers. She found Damian's laptop in his office. It was password protected, but a sticky note on the desk had a series of numbers. His and Simone's anniversary. The laptop opened. Nata's hands shook as she typed Marcus into the search bar. Emails appeared. Dozens of them. All from Simone to someone named Marcus Chen. She opened the most recent one. Sent the week before Simone died. "Marcus, I can't keep doing this. Damian deserves better than my lies. I'm going to tell him everything tonight. About us. About the baby. About all of it. I know it will destroy him, but he deserves the truth. If he never speaks to me again, I'll understand. I'm sorry for dragging you into this. I'm sorry for all of it." Natalyia's blood ran cold. The baby. Simone had been pregnant when she died. She kept reading, going back through months of correspondence. The affair had lasted nearly a year. Marcus was Damian's business partner. Simone had fallen in love with him during late nights at the office while Damian was traveling. She'd been on her way to tell Damian everything when the drunk driver hit her. He never knew. He'd spent 14 months mourning a woman who'd been about to leave him. The front door slammed open downstairs. "Natalyia," Damian's voice. He was back early. She frantically closed the laptop, but it was too late. He appeared in the doorway, and his eyes went straight to the screen, to the email still visible for a split second before it closed. "What are you doing?" "Damian, I can explain." But the look on his face stopped her cold. He'd seen it. "Seen enough. Get out," he said quietly. "Please, just listen. Get out." The roar echoed through the empty house. Natalyia grabbed her backpack and ran. She made it to the front door before his voice stopped her. "You knew?" His voice was hollow. "That's why you were looking, wasn't it? You found something." "What was it?" She turned slowly. He stood at the top of the stairs, silhouetted against the window. A broken man about to become more broken. "Tell me the truth, Natalyia. After everything, you owe me that." Right. Her hand tightened on the photograph in her pocket. This was the moment. Tell him or protect him. "She loved you," Natalyia whispered. "Whatever else happened, she loved you." "That's not what I asked." Before she could answer, a car pulled up outside. Through the window, Natalyia saw a man emerge. Tall, dark suit. When he looked up at the house, his face was familiar. The man from the photograph. Marcus. And he was walking toward the front door with a key in his hand. The key turned in the lock before Natalyia could move. The door swung open and Marcus stepped inside, freezing when he saw her. "Who are you?" he demanded. "I could ask you the same thing." She positioned herself between him and the stairs where Damian stood. "Marcus." Damian's voice was sharp. "What are you doing here?" Marcus looked up, and something flickered across his face. "Damian." "I wasn't expecting you back until tomorrow, clearly." Damian descended the stairs, each step measured. "You have a key to my house?" "Simone gave it to me. For emergencies. I've been meaning to return it. But I thought you might want me to check on the place occasionally." The lie was smooth. Practiced Natalya's stomach turned. "How thoughtful," Damian said, his tone glacial. "Though I have a housekeeper now, as you can see." Marcus's eyes slid to Natalyia, assessing. "So I see. Marcus Chen, Damian's business partner." "Former business partner," Damian corrected. "We dissolved the partnership 6 months ago. Remember?" "Of course. Old habits." Marcus's smile didn't reach his eyes. "I should go. I just wanted to check on you. Make sure you're doing all right. I'm fine, are you?" Marcus's gaze shifted between them. "Because hiring strange women and holding up in this house doesn't seem fine to me." "She's not strange," Damian said quietly. "And what I do in my house is no longer your concern." The tension crackled like electricity. Marcus nodded slowly. "Right. Well, if you need anything, I won't." Marcus left, but not before shooting Natalyia a look that sent chills down her spine. A warning, the door closed. Silence filled the house. "How much do you know?" Damian asked without turning around. Natalyia pulled out the photograph. "I found this yesterday. In the hidden room, took it, staring at the image of his dead fiancée with his former best friend. They look happy, Damian don't." He walked to the fireplace, holding the photograph over the flames. "Don't tell me you're sorry. Don't tell me it doesn't matter. Just don't." "I wasn't going to say any of that." He looked at her then, and the devastation in his eyes broke her heart. "What were you going to say?" "That there's more emails on your laptop." "I'm sorry, I shouldn't have looked, but I needed to know who he was and show me." They went to his office. Natalyia pulled up the emails and Damian read in silence. She watched his face as he processed the truth, the affair, the pregnancy. Simone's plan to confess everything the night she died. When he finished, he closed the laptop carefully. "So she was leaving me? She was trying to be honest with you? She was trying to ease her own conscience." His laugh was bitter. "I've spent over a year mourning a woman who didn't exist. The Simone I loved would never have betrayed me like this." which means the woman I loved was a fiction. People are complicated. Stop making excuses for her. He slammed his hand on the desk. She slept with my best friend. She got pregnant with his child. She lied to my face every single day for a year. And you want me to what? Understand? Forgive? I want you to see that she was human, flawed, real. Well, congratulations. You've shattered every good memory I had left. He stood pacing. Did you know Marcus invested in my first company because Simone asked him to? He's been my partner for 7 years. 7 years of working side by side, and the entire time he stopped. Realization dawning. The partnership dissolution. He wanted out 6 months ago. Said he needed a change. God, he couldn't even look me in the eye when we signed the papers. He knew. He's known all along that I'm mourning the woman who betrayed both of us. Maybe he loved her too, Natalyia said softly. Damian's eyes flashed. Maybe he should have thought about that before sleeping with his best friend's fiancée. The doorbell rang. Once. Twice. Insistent. Damian strode to the door and yanked it open. Marcus stood there, rain beginning to fall around him. We need to talk, Marcus said. I have nothing to say to you. I have plenty to say to you. Marcus pushed past him into the house. Simone made me promise, if you ever found out I was supposed to tell you everything, the whole truth. I think I've heard enough truth for one day. No. Marcus's voice was raw. You haven't, because the biggest truth is one Natalyia doesn't know yet. Natalya's blood ran cold. What are you talking about? Marcus turned to her and his expression was cold. Why don't you tell him why you really came here? Tell him about the envelope Simone's lawyer gave you. Tell him about the money. What money? Damian's voice was deadly quiet. I don't know what he's talking about, Natalyia said, but her voice shook. Liar. Marcus pulled out his phone, showing them a photograph. Natalyia, 2 weeks ago, sitting in a lawyer's office, Simone set up a trust before she died. A contingency plan. If anything happened to her, someone was supposed to come here and make sure Damian didn't destroy himself. That someone was you, Natalyia. $50,000 to play the role of his savior. The words hung in the air like poison. Damian turned to her slowly. Is this true? Yes, but not the way he's making it sound. Did you take money to come here? The lawyer said Simone wanted someone to help you. I was homeless, grieving, desperate. But I didn't come here for the money. I came because $50,000 is a lot of incentive to play the broken girl who needs saving. His voice was hollow. Was any of it real? The grief over your mother? The kiss on the terrace? Any of it. All of it was real. How convenient that the one person I let in, the one person I trusted, was literally paid to be here. He looked at Marcus. Did you know about this? I found out yesterday. I've been tracking the trust. When I saw her name, I knew I had to warn you. Warn me. Damian's laugh was broken. You slept with my fiancé, and now you want to play the hero? I'm trying to protect you from another liar. Get out. Both of you now. Damian, please, Natalyia begged. Let me explain. There's nothing to explain. You're just another person who saw a broken billionaire and figured you'd cash in. I hope the money was worth it. I never touched the money. It's still in the account. I didn't want it. I wanted what? Me. How touching. He opened the front door. Rain poured down outside. Get out. I'm not leaving you like this. You don't have a choice. Marcus moved toward the door, but Natalyia stood her ground. I know you're hurting. I know you feel betrayed. But I am not Simone, and I am not leaving you to drown in this. You already did. His eyes were ice. The moment you lied about why you were here, I came here to do a job. I stayed because I fell in love with you. The confession hung in the rain-soaked air. Damian's expression didn't change. Love built on lies isn't love at all, he said quietly. It's just another betrayal. He physically moved her toward the door. She stood on the threshold, rain soaking her clothes, watching the man she loved shut her out. Damian. Please, the door closed in her face. She stood there for a long moment, rain streaming down her face, mixing with tears. Behind her, Marcus waited by his car. This is your fault, she said. No, His voice was hard. This is yours. You should have told him from the beginning, like you told him about Simone. His jaw tightened. Get in the car. I'll drive you to town. I'm not going anywhere with you. Suit yourself. But you should know something. He leaned close, voice dropping. That baby Simone was carrying. It wasn't mine. Natalia's heart stopped. What? The pregnancy test was fake? Simone made it up to force a confession from both of us. She wanted to see who would step up, me or Damian. It was a test. One she never got to see through. You're lying, am I? Check her medical records. She wasn't pregnant. She was dying, though. Stage 4 cancer. Same as your mother, actually. His smile was cruel. She had maybe 3 months left when the accident happened. The drunk driver saved her from a much worse death, got in his car and drove away. Leaving Natalyia standing in the rain, her entire world shattered, inside the house. Damian poured himself a drink with shaking hands. On the desk, Simone's photograph stared up at him. And tucked in the corner, barely visible, was an envelope he'd never seen before. He opened it. A letter in Simone's handwriting. Damian, if you're reading this, I'm gone. And someone kept their promise to watch over you. Don't be angry with her. I asked her to lie. I knew you'd never accept help if you knew it was from me. The truth is, I'm sick. Terminal. I didn't tell you because I couldn't bear to watch you try to save me. The affair with Marcus, a lie. A story I created to push you away so you wouldn't have to watch me die. I wanted you to hate me, because hate is easier than grief. I loved you until my last breath. I'm sorry I chose to die a villain in your eyes rather than let you watch me wither away. By the time you read this, I hope you found someone else. Someone who makes you want to live again. Don't push her away, forever yours. Simone. The letter slipped from Damian's fingers. Outside, lightning split the sky. Natalyia didn't know how long she stood in the rain before her legs started moving. She walked down the coastal highway, no destination in mind, just away from the mansion and the wreckage of everything she'd felt. Her phone buzzed in her pocket. She'd forgotten she'd charged it that morning. A voicemail from the lawyer who'd handled Simone's trust. She listened with numb fingers.
Miss Rivers,
This is Robert Chen. I'm calling because I need to clarify something important. When I told you about the trust, I may have given you the wrong impression. The money wasn't payment for helping Mr. Cross. It was Simone's inheritance for you. Your mother, Catherine Rivers, and Simone were half-sisters. They lost touch years ago, but Simone never stopped looking for her. When she learned about Catherine's death, she wanted to help you. The job was simply a way to bring you two together. Mr. Cross never knew about the family connection. Please, call me back. Natalyia stopped walking. The world tilted. Simone was her aunt. The job wasn't manipulation. It was family taking care of family. She turned and ran back toward the mansion. Rain lashed her face. Her lungs burned. But she had to tell Damian the truth. All of it. She burst through the front door. Damian! The house was dark. She found him in his office, sitting in the chair. Simone's letter crumpled in his fist. His face was wet, and she didn't think it was from rain. She lied, he said without looking up. About everything. The affair. The pregnancy. All of it, I know. Natalyia moved closer. Marcus told me. Damian, I'm so sorry. She was dying. She had cancer, and she didn't tell me because she didn't want me to watch. His voice cracked. She loved me so much she made me hate her, and I fell for it. Natalyia knelt beside his chair. She was trying to protect you. I don't want protection. I wanted time. More time with her before he couldn't finish. And then you came here, and for the first time in over a year, I felt something other than grief. I felt hope. And that terrified me because what if I lose you too? You won't lose me. You don't know that. My mother died when I was 7. My father when I was 15. Simone at 28. Everyone I love dies or leaves. Then maybe it's time to stop being afraid of loss and start being grateful for what you have right now. She took his hands. I need to tell you something. The lawyer called. Simone and my mother were half-sisters. They lost touch years ago. The trust wasn't payment for playing a role. It was inheritance. Family helping family. Simone wanted to meet me, but she ran out of time.
How?
Damian's eyes widened. You're her niece? Yes, I didn't know. I swear I didn't know any of this. I just thought I was taking a job from a kind person who understood what it meant to have nothing. He stood, pacing to the window. The storm had passed. Dawn was breaking over the ocean, painting everything gold and pink. So much lies, he said quietly. So many secrets. How do we build anything real on that foundation? We start over. Natalyia stood. Right now. No more secrets. No more hiding. We lay everything out and decide if we're brave enough to try. If we're not, then at least we'll know we were honest. He turned to face her. In the dawn light, he looked younger, less burdened. I'm scared of how much I feel for you. Terrified that if I let myself love you, the universe will take you away too. I'm scared too. Scared that I'm falling for a man who might never fully heal. Scared that I'll always be competing with a ghost. Scared that this could destroy us both. Quite a pair we make. The worst. A smile ghosted across his lips. So what do? We choose. She walked to him, stopping just close enough that he could reach for her if he wanted. We choose to be scared together. We choose to risk the pain because the alternative is living half a life. We choose each other every day, knowing it might end in heartbreak. That's not very romantic. It's honest. And I think we've both had enough pretty lies. He reached out, cupping her face with both hands. I can't promise you forever. I can't promise I won't wake up some mornings still grieving her. I can't promise this will be easy. I don't want easy. I want real, then stay. His voice was rough with emotion. Stay and help me figure out how to live again. Stay and let me figure out how to love someone without being terrified. Stay, and she kissed him, cutting off his words. This kiss was different from the first. Less desperate, more certain. A promise rather than a question. When they broke apart, both were crying. I'm staying, she whispered. Not because of money or guilt or obligation. I'm staying because I choose you. Broken pieces and all, I choose you too. He rested his forehead against hers. God help us both. They stood there as dawn painted the sky, two scarred people choosing to be brave together. Later, they burned Simone's letter in the fireplace. Not to erase her memory, but to release it. They scattered the photograph of her and Marcus into the fire too. The lies burned away, leaving only truth. What do we do now? Natalyia asked. We live. Damian pulled her close. We open the West Wing. We play the piano. We fill this house with noise and laughter and mess. We make mistakes and fix them. We argue and make up. We build something new on top of the old foundations. That sounds terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. I'm in, he laughed, the sound rusty but genuine. You know, Simone wrote in her letter that she hoped I'd find someone who makes me want to live again. I think she'd be happy it was you, family. I wish I'd met her. Me too. She would have loved your stubbornness. Your refusal to let me wallow. Someone had to save you from yourself. Is that what you're doing? Saving me? Natalyia looked up at him, at the man who'd opened his door to her during a storm, who'd given her shelter and purpose and something she'd never expected to find. No, she said softly. I think we're saving each other. Outside, the ocean crashed against the cliffs. Inside, the fire crackled. And for the first time since tragedy had touched their lives, both of them felt something other than grief. They felt hope. Months later, Damian stood in the West Wing, which was no longer a forbidden space, but a studio again. Natalyia's paintings covered the walls now, bright splashes of color bringing life to rooms that had sat dark too long. She'd convinced him to turn Simone's old studio into something new, a place where both their ghosts could rest and new memories could form. What do you think? She asked, paint smudged on her cheek. I think it's perfect. He wrapped his arms around her waist. I think you're perfect. I'm not perfect. I'm stubborn and messy, and I burn dinner half the time. Yes, and I love all of it. The word settled between them. Love. They'd been dancing around it for months, both too afraid to say it first. I love you too, she whispered. Even when you're impossible. Especially when I'm impossible. She turned in his arms. Are we really doing this? Building a life together? We already are. He kissed her forehead. Every day we choose to stay. Every argument we work through. Every meal we share. That's building a life. It's not the life I imagined. Is it better or worse? She smiled. Better. So much better than I ever dreamed. They stood in the studio, surrounded by art and light. Two people who'd found each other in the darkness and chose to walk into the light together. Outside, a storm was gathering on the horizon. But inside, the house was warm and filled with life. And for now, that was enough. More than enough. It was everything. The end.